on assignments and tasks and make school a pleasant experience. So they do want us to keep them safe. They want us to make them happy. We'll go on and talk about further, because I know your mind is going all over the place, that parents may have these expectations of us as teachers when they may not be offering what we need to be able to give these things to the students. All right, why do some parents resist involvement? We know that parental involvement is important, but why do some parents often resist involvement, you think?
Sometimes the situation resist is, I don't know, that word can be changed, but we have a lot of parents that's not even available.
Right.
They're not available physically, and some just mentally. They're just not available to help. So they're out, so to speak.
I like that point. Mr. Jackie says they're not available mentally, they're out.
Well, yeah.
So many times, parents probably feel inadequate. Some things that they may feel are frustration. They may actually feel stupid or invisible, like they don't count. They may feel unappreciated. The student actually may feel like you are more educated or involved with them than the parent actually is. And sometimes, like you said, mentally they don't have the capacity to meet the child's needs educationally. They can't work some of the problems in math. They can't do some of the reading activities. So they do feel inadequate. So a lot of times, just like any of us in life, when things are difficult for us, we'll push back. We'll shun things that are hard for us.
So some of these parents didn't even graduate high school themselves, or they might have been in special education.
Right.
Or, so it's hard for them.
And in a resource,
child,
very good. In a resource setting, I found that it's almost generational.
Yes,
it's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the students that I have now, I went to school with some of their parents that were a part of the resource program. So when you feel inadequate or incapable, then you feel like you don't have anything to offer your child. In building these partnerships, just like we just said, or I just said, knowing that some of these parents were maybe resource students when I was in school, I can't just assume anything, because we all know what happens when we assume. I can't make an assumption about the parents at all. I have to try to get to know them. I need to rely on observations of the students myself. Sometimes when we get children, we get new students, the teacher may say, well, I had this problem or that problem with them. You can never rely on what another teacher's observation, any other person in life actually, of someone else's observation of a person. You need to get to know them for yourself. If you have any problems or concerns or things that you want to know from the parent, the best thing to do is to ask them to go to that parent. And in communication, we'll build partnerships. Like I said before, we want to be proactive. We want to communicate with them prior to a possibly negative situation. Some of the things that you could possibly do in order to be proactive would be to, at the beginning of the school year, we get a roster. And even before sometimes we have an opportunity to meet our students, we may want to make a friendly phone call to the parents, letting them know who you are, what role you'll play in their student's life, in the child's life that upcoming school year. Also, you may want to, in special education, we have what we call IEP meetings. So we do have an opportunity to meet with the parents throughout the school year. Some of them, depending on when the IEP was done the year before, we may not meet them until the spring. But you do want to have some form of interaction, greeting with the parent. Even if you called and left a message or sent out something, you could even mail them something, a little brochure, not a brochure, a little postcard, maybe, and just writing who you are and just greeting them and telling them how you're looking forward to working with their child this year. This is all a part of building partnerships with parents. Maintaining contact with your parents. This is going to be critical. Like we said, communication. Communication is going to be the key to build these relationships, partnerships with our parents. have as many positive encounters with your parents as possible. Some children have behavior problems due to numerous reasons. ADHD, it could be circumstances at home, a number of different reasons. And we find ourselves having to contact parents to let them know that we've had another incident, we've had another referral. But we want to also make as many positive contacts as we do negative. Call them and let them know little Johnny did a great job today. And that'll help to build these relationships. And then they won't see the school as something negative, because many times people will avoid calls from the school. They won't even answer the phone if you call, just because they associate contact from the school being negative. And like I said, positive parental communication is going to be vital to help with the students, to help with their success. And also, I want to read that last comment. You want to make sure that you are being positive in your role, because you will be talked about at the ball field, at church, at the grocery store, and even on Facebook. Parents talk, and you want things to go out and be positive about you, about the school. Just as I said, if you are intentionally trying to be a positive communicator, you will help to promote the success of the student and also build the reputation of the school. Build your own personal reputation, and things that will go out will be positive things. Partnering equals positive collaboration. You want the communication to be two-way. What do I mean by two-way communication? We want to talk to the parent, and we also want to give the parent an opportunity to talk back to us. We don't want to dominate the conversation and act like we're a know-it-all, or that we have all the answers, because we don't. We have the expertise as educators because we've been taught through education and training, but we don't have all the answers. So we want to always keep two-way communication open. Also, you want to provide reports to the parents on a regular basis. Some people send out in the elementary grades, they may send out signed papers. We want to provide reports, some type of something to let the parents know what progress that the student is actually making. Just as I said, you want parents to see the good as well as the bad. When you see a parent doing something well with their students, with our students, as a parent, sometimes we need a pat on the back. Sometimes we need to know I'm doing